from the Israeli government. Not the Jews themselves, their government. They're turning into the very same people that oppressed them back in the 30s and 40s. They were called Nazis. Now they're doing the oppressing of Palestinians. I don't care how you slice it. Murder is murder, and this is murder. And I'm not saying this is coming from the Jewish people, because if you go on YouTube and you log in poor little Lucas, who's a little Jewish boy with his little yarmulke, and he had his little Palestinian flag on his hat, he got the crap beat out of him. And when I was watching that video, I kind of sat there going, holy cow, did those guys just take a cue from NYPD? Because that's kind of how the New York Police Department operates. It was like deja vu all over again. What I'm trying to say is we're getting ready to go into a major religious war. All three religions are going to fight with each other. And it's all going to take place in the very part of the world that this religion was birthed, because, I'm going to reiterate it again, the Middle East is a Pisces country. And Pisces is the sign of religion. It's the sign of deception. Religion is deceptive. And I can say that honestly by hearing some of my own friends. I have many friends from all different religions and walks of life, but I recently had a friend tell me that she has to give $300 or $400 away a month to her church because it's required, while she struggles to put food on the table. Sorry. That's wrong. You take care of your kids. You feed your family. If you've got a little bit left over to give, if that's what you want to do, then so be it. That's your choice. No one's telling you not to. Anyway, let's just say some prayers for the Middle East, because they're going to need it. Now, information that I give you is lost knowledge, hidden from us. I would love to be a fly on the wall and go to the Vatican in their private library. Oh, the things Linda would find in her treasure trove of lost wisdom and knowledge under that Vatican. The Vatican knows this information that I'm giving you tonight about the stars. Every bishop, every pope, every pontiff, every man of clergy within the Church of the Vatican has studied astrology. However, they've told their followers that anything from the stars is the devil, and it's evil, and it shouldn't be followed. But tell me this, folks. If you believe in a creator or a higher power that created everything, including the sun, the moon, and the stars, how could that be evil? Through the ages, and I'm talking 10, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago, our ancestors, the Atlanteans, people before them, the Mayans were the masters of, astronomy. Tell me, how did they know certain things? The Atlanteans especially were very versed in this knowledge. This knowledge, and I don't know if I have a whole lot of time to go through that, like a history lesson on what's going on through the ages, but rest assured, our system knows some of this knowledge, and it's being kept from people so that people don't progress and people don't help themselves. They're needy. They need to go to church and have a pastor or a priest bless them. And there's an expression: God helps those who help themselves. You ever heard this expression? You know what that... I had an epiphany about 7 years ago when I first started studying this with Dr. Torrey. I said, oh my God, that's it. God helps those who help themselves, meaning learn how to read the stars, learn how to read the red lights and the green lights, learn the universal laws of the moon, and I guarantee you, you will live a long, happy life. Unfortunately, the people that were on board that Malaysia flight that was shot down in the Ukraine, they would have had a little bit more knowledge of the stars. They would have known not to fly in a waning moon. Or at the very least, don't buy your tickets in a waning moon. If you're going to travel, you make your plans in the new moon. And you will be blessed and protected under the stars, because that is the message. It's not in a book. It's written in starlight. His message is written in starlight. You just need to learn how to read it. let's see now. Where was I on my little rant? Let me just explain a little bit. Now, I don't want you guys to think, oh my God, it's her first show and she's bashing on religion and Christ and God. I'm not saying there isn't a God or a goddess or a higher power. But when you look into the heavens and see what you see, don't just take it for granted. Don't just say, oh, those are pretty, and call it a day. They're messages for us to learn, and I'm here to help you to learn how to read them. You look to the stars for your answers, and there you will see divine wisdom. Now, I also hear people saying God hates this, God hates that. God does not hate Jews, Muslims, Christians, you'd be a fool to think this. Or, who is that? My famous, the Westboro Baptist Church. God hates fags. You ever seen this? Oh my God, what a bunch of delusional idiots. They're idiots. I don't know how else to put it. Delusional, and they put the fear into people. But I want to say this, keep an eye on the Vatican because things are going to get interesting. Remember, knowledge is power, my friends. And if you continue to let people force feed you bullshit, then you're going to follow in the road of ignorance. And ignorance is always evil. Knowledge is power. The more educated a person is, that makes a person a more powerful person. So remember that. Let me just explain a little bit about my methods of astrology to everyone. Like I said, I don't practice modern astrology. You'll never hear me say, oh, Leo's in 28 degrees of this. Because I'm not into the mathematical jargon like modern astrology does and Vedic astrology does. I focus on the 12 houses of the zodiac. Each house has a human emotion. In modern astrology, you have the north and south nodes of the moon. I call them dragon head and tails. Modern astrology does not even recognize these aspects of our own star chart. And they are probably the most important aspects of a human's chart. Remember a few years ago when the astronomer came out and said that the zodiac has changed and it's switched, and now Capricorns are now Sagittarius and Sagittarius are now Scorpio? I remember seeing this on the Today Show when that chick Meredith Vieira was on. She goes, I was always a Capricorn, now I'm a Sagittarius. You're still a Capricorn, lady. We need science. We need people with logic and reason, but just because you can't see it, touch it, or feel it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And all those of you in the paranormal world, you know what I mean. What I'm trying to get at here is this astronomer was trying to say the zodiac changed. Now, Fucus is very real. He is a constellation up there. When I look in my telescope, sometimes I can see the planet or the star of a Fucus. He's there. When I incorporate a dragon head and tail into your star pattern, that's your 13th sign, my friends. We all have one. We even have a hidden one. And everyone's is different, which makes no two Capricorns, no two Aquariuses, and no two Sagittariuses exactly alike. I'm completely different from a lot of my Capricorn counterparts. Capricorn is either completely religious or completely agnostic and atheist. Libra's kind of the same way. So, with that being said, I'm just going to kind of explain a little something to you that I want to read to you. I do this all the time when I'm explaining this type of astrology to everyone. The one good thing about astrology is that it doesn't do the whole mathematical jargon. It's very simplistic in its teachings, and it works from a housing system. Remember that each of us have the whole zodiac. We all have the whole zodiac within our chart. Each house represents a human emotion. There's 12 hours in a day. There were 12 apostles. There were 12 tribes of Israel. There are 12 signs in a zodiac. And there are 12 human emotions. First house represents yourself and your soul's purpose. So I'll use myself as an example, Capricorn. Your second house is your wealth and possessions. And everyone's zodiac sign is a different sign for that house. Third house is your communication and your siblings. Your fourth house is your mother, your home, your family, and your emotions. And you think about a basic zodiac that starts with April being the baby, moving to Taurus, and then from Taurus to Gemini, and then to the 4th house of Cancer. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. Then you have the 5th house, which is love, creativity, and children and speculation. Your 6th house energy is health and work and service to this world. Your 7th house is marriage, partnerships, and contracts. And your 8th house is life and death. This is incorporated funds, and this is the sex house. This is the sex energy in your chart. 9th house is foreign lands, religion, books, and the law. Your 10th house is father and career. If Cancer is the mother of the zodiac, then who is the father of the zodiac, the engineer? That would be Capricorn. 11th house, friends and wishes. This is your house of wishes and friends. Your 12th house is your subconscious, your dreams. Those of you who have had readings done by me know that your natal placement within one of these housing systems takes on a very accurate description of your own self. I use my own self as an example. I have a natal dragon's head in Pisces. It resides right in my 3rd house of communication. This is no wonder I do radio. I also have Gemini in my 6th house of health, work, and service to the world. Gemini represents communication, broadcasting, radio. DTM also has another radio host with this aspect. She has the same position as I do, different sign, and that's our own Miss Beautiful Christina George of Paranormal Connections and a couple other shows. I'm sorry, Christina, I can't keep up with them. I love you, though, but you see why she is so good at radio and has so many shows? Because her natal dragon's placed right in her 3rd house of communication. So we all have benefits to this, and we all have positive and negatives in our own stars. If we learn our negatives, we can be better service to this world. So, with that being said, it's a very unique method of astrology. I've been very blessed to have come across it. I've been very blessed to have learned this. I don't always agree with everything that my teacher has said. I've had many arguments with him in the past about certain things that I can't get into here on air because they're personal and private. But this is something that I'm very thankful that I have learned. Now, I am going to be doing some tarot readings if anybody calls. If nobody calls, you don't even have to call. I'm in the chat room. I'm busy yakking right now, so I'm not communicating. But I'm going to give you the full moon forecast because I'm going to have a guest on next week, and it will be DTM's very own Jason Stanton from Ghost Chat Radio. You know, the bad boy, the paranormal rebel. He'll be on with me next week, and I'll be interviewing him, and this will give my listeners who followed me over kind of an opportunity to listen to another host from this network. And through the next few months, I will be having several other hosts on, including Christina George, who I've already talked to, and we're going to nail down a date here in August or September. And I'll be having a lot of other interesting guests. I'm trying to get Gerald Salente on with me. Those of you who know him, he's the gentleman who talks about, he does a show called Trends. He's always talking about the economy, and he's right on the money. I just absolutely adore him. He's wonderful. We're going to have a lot of interesting guests on from time to time. And was trying to get someone on today from the Bunker Report. This is a group of guys who they're watching what's going on up in Yellowstone. It was a little late in the day, and I never made contact with them again. I sent them a message, and they didn't reply. So I'll try and get them on August. When is it? August 1st, I think I go on again. Solo, and I'm going to talk the first of every month. Just get used to this. The first of every month, I do a whole hour dedicated to your sky sign. So for August, it will be Leo. Back on the 3rd, my last broadcast for Blog Talk, I did all about Cancer. So just so you know, and then throughout the weeks, I'll have guests and stuff. And tonight, I'm offering my services of tarot reading. I do tarot reading a little bit differently.